Hey friends, welcome back to my channel, Accidental Beauty. If you're new, welcome. My name is Laura. I'm a self-taught makeup enthusiast who absolutely loves experimenting with makeup, and that's what I'm going to be doing today. Today I was inspired by Nikki Tutorial's recent video where she did a full face using only eyeshadows. This isn't a new concept. I was looking to see if anyone else had done this challenge, and it looks like James Charles did this video a few years ago when his Morphe palette came out. He did a full face using that palette. A couple other YouTubers also did a full face using just one palette challenge. I kind of followed more of Nikki Tutorial's direction and just did my full face using only eyeshadows. The only exceptions are my eyelashes and a little bit of mascara. Other than that, my whole face is eyeshadows. So if you guys want to see how I did this look, and feel free to follow along if you want, then please keep on watching. Feels like it's been a long time since I've filmed because I just have a backlog of footage, so I'm actually really happy that I've got some time to film. Let's see, so really my biggest concern is just finding a shade that matches my skin tone. That's gonna be a big one. I don't really have a ton of those because I tend to stay away from neutrals. Let's see, how does this shade look? That one's kind of close to my skin tone. This one actually might work as well. It might be a little dark. Okay, so I put on some face cream. I'm just gonna put on a little bit more face cream. That's sort of gonna act as my sort of base, because I'm going to be putting on so many powder products. I just want to make sure that my skin is hydrated. All right, so let's begin. I usually do my eyebrows with an angled brush, but all my angled brushes are dirty right now. And actually I need a good brown shade. Might be a little bit dark, but I'm going to use the shade here, Chocolate from Colored Rain. Maybe I'll zoom in a little bit. Okay, there we go. Now you can see what I'm doing. It's a little bit darker and warmer than I'd usually do my brows, but I don't mind it. Okay. Yeah, these are very intense. All right, I'm just gonna brush through that with a spoolie. All right, and next, the fun part. All right, so I'm gonna use the shade Angel Face from Colored Rain. It's a little bit darker, but let's just try that first. I'm gonna use a big fluffy brush. Oh, yeah, it's definitely showing up. Yeah, it's a little bit darker than me, so I think I might switch to a slightly lighter shade. Okay, yeah, let's switch to a lighter shade. I'm gonna switch to this shade from the BH Cosmetics Modern Mattes palette, which unfortunately is discontinued. Oh wow, that is a dark shade. Okay, I accidentally dipped into the next shade, so I'm gonna switch to a different brush. Okay, this is actually working pretty nicely. Except these eyebrows, man. These eyebrows are a bit dark. I think I'm gonna have to lighten them a little bit. Okay, I've actually got a couple other colors from the Kylie Cosmetics Take Me on Vacation palette, which is no longer available, unfortunately. Let's try this shade, which doesn't have a name. I think that one's called Aloha. Okay, then I'm gonna take this shade called Sea Breeze. You can like barely see it on camera. And let's see if I can use that as a sort of concealer under my eyes. Okay, I mean, it's not bad. And it has some coverage. I'm just gonna mix Sea Breeze and Aloha. Oh, this is so powdery right now. I'm gonna try and fix my eyebrows a little bit. I'm gonna use the shade Warm Taupe from the Anastasia Modern Renaissance palette. Just try and lighten my brows a little bit with that. Oh, I forgot how powdery this is. I think I'm stuck with these really dark brows. Great. Next, I guess I'll work on complexion some more. Wow, so dry, so powdery. Let's contour. Since I have it here, I'm gonna take the Modern Renaissance palette again. I'm gonna go into Raw Sienna. To make this contour a little bit more cool tone, I'm gonna take a little bit of this kind of purpley shade. Yeah, I'm gonna take a little bit of that purpley shade, like the tiniest amount. My face is running very warm. I want to just kind of cool it down a little bit. It's a little bit dark, but okay, I'm gonna have to blend this out after. I'm gonna take a bit more of Raw Sienna because I think that was a little warm to like contour with. So just take a little bit of that and use it to bronze my face and also kind of blend in that contour because I didn't do the best job. I kind of like that, except for these eyebrows. These eyebrows are too dark. So next I'm gonna do blush. I feel like I'm in the minority here, but I actually really like a shimmery blush. So because I have like a very sort of like bronzy look going on, I'm kind of thinking of using this really fun sort of duochrome shade called Firefly in the Ace Beauté Flare palette. And I will have a video of this palette going up at some point. This palette, actually trying out this one and the Oceanic palette from them. I've used this before, I'm pretty sure, as blush. Like, I don't know why. I don't know if it's just YouTubers being over dramatic, but I feel like when people have done this challenge before, they like freak out that like, oh my God, I can't use, you know, an eyeshadow as a blush, or I can't use like a product that's designated for one thing as something else. But I'm pretty sure like eyeshadows or like powder products are pretty much kind of the same base, and then you kind of add your different, maybe less pigment for a complexion product versus an eye product, but at its core, I think it's pretty much the same. So I don't see why it's so crazy to be using an eyeshadow as, you know, a blush or contour bronzer. Like, I do that sometimes. So anyways, I think I've tried the shade before as a blush. I'm just gonna tap it off because I remember it being very, very pigmented. Oh, it has such a pretty shift. I just want to blend it out a bit better, so I'm kind of like draping it a little bit. I feel like it's kind of subtle. See if I can drag it further down my face so you can see it a bit better. Yeah, in person it's really pretty. On camera I feel like my lights are kind of washing it out a little bit, and I kind of brought it up really high on the side for some reason, so I guess I'll do the same here. Tap it down a little bit because it's a little crazy. I'm gonna add some on my nose because I think that's super cute. Okay, now I look very blushed. This is kind of like a more sort of orangey based NARS Orgasm. It's kind of a similar sort of that like warm pinky orange duochrome. There's just a bit more orange in this shade. Super pretty, love it. I kind of want to do a purpley eye look, and I feel like that would look really weird with my face products, but I really want to use this shade just above it called Mirage, and then like maybe these purpley shades. I think that could be super pretty. You know what, I'm going to save highlighter for after my eyes because I want to see if I can maybe bring out some tones in my eye look into my highlighter. So let's start on my eye look, might as well. Maybe I'll try these two shades and contour my nose with that. Maybe that like foundation shade that I used before just to go over it. Nose contouring, and often it just ends up looking muddy. So now, as I was saying, so I'll start off with the shade Mulberry. And that's just gonna go in my crease. Since technically this is just a look with only eyeshadows, I'm not going to prime my eyes, and I'm just going to sort of wing that out a little bit because why not? I don't know, it's fun. Okay, that's about probably as much pigment as I'm going to get out of that. I'm going to go in to Modern Mattes and just mix, I think, these two shades together. And I'm just gonna put that right above shade, I think, right below. Actually, you know what, change my mind. Yeah, maybe I'm just gonna put that right down here just to make that a little bit more interesting. And I'm just gonna go back into Mulberry and just build that up. I think I'm gonna mix aubergine and saffron and put that on my outer V. Yeah, that's the color I want. I actually am really loving these two colors mixed together. I'm just gonna use my fingers. I'm gonna dip into Mirage, which is really like the inspiration behind this whole eye look. Yes. Oh, it's so pretty. Just gonna go back into Saffron and Aubergine and just kind of intensify and just make that blend a little bit more seamless. Now under my eyes, because this is so like reddish pink, I kind of want to bring some more of those like reddish orange tones in. So I'm gonna mix, I'm gonna do half, like the outer half of my like under eye with hazelnut and then the inner part with pumpkin. Just stamping that on. And I'm just gonna blend that, and I tried to wipe off what was on my brush, but it looks like there's still a little bit of aubergine on there, so oh well. Now it's time for highlighter. I'm glad I waited until after doing my eye look because my plans have kind of changed a little bit. So I was thinking originally of doing a more pinky highlighter shade, but I think I'm actually gonna go a little bit more reddish. Yes, so I'm gonna use the shade Red Giant. Oh, everything looks the same on here, but it's this one. This is from Terra Moons. Beautiful shade. It's really got that like pinkish reddish shift to it. Love that. Yeah, it's pink, but it's also kind of reddish. I don't know. Really unique shade. And I'm gonna highlight my brow bone because why not? Let's add a little bit of highlighter there. Yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna sort of blend everything just to make sure that everything looks super smoked out. I feel like I've lost all of that mulberry shade. It's just not the most intensely pigmented shade, unfortunately. So I'm gonna use the Melt Gemini palette. I'm gonna use the shade Bonnie, which is probably the darkest black that I have in my collection. Just gonna do a regular wing liner with this. All right, so I like how that looks, but I want to add to it. So I'm gonna take the At Forest Sight palette from ColourPop and Raw Beauty Christie, their collab, and I'm gonna use the shade Let It Rain because it's a black with like a little bit of a shimmer running through it. And I just want to give this eyeliner a little bit more dimension. I don't know if this will really add what I'm trying to add, but I just kind of want to make it look a little bit shinier so it looks a little bit more like a sort of traditional eyeliner. Looking good so far. Let's move on to lips. What color do I want to do? That's probably too dark. I kind of want just like a more neutral color. Okay, I'm going to be taking this look off, or at least like the lip portion, like shortly after I finish this. So I'm going to use a shade that I'm allergic to. Probably a couple shades that I'm allergic to, actually. Do as I say, don't do as I do. So I'm going to use this shade over here from the Huda Obsessions Amethyst palette. I think this one is discontinued because I can't find it anywhere online, which is really a shame because it's actually a really nice palette. Even though I'm allergic to like 2/3 of the shades, but we don't have to talk about that. So I'm gonna just line my lips. This might not be the right shade. Okay, so I've lined my lips in that, but looking at my eye look, I kind of want to bring in more like reds and orangey colors. So I'm trying to think what would go with that. And I'm kind of thinking actually, I'm going to take this off. Yeah, not a fan. All right, let's try something else. Let's try, this is going to be really dark, but I'm going to try and use the shade Amanita from the Raw Beauty Christie and ColourPop palette. Maybe let's try like a soft, almost blotted lip. So that actually looks kind of nice. I'm just gonna pat in a little bit of color, maybe towards the corners. I'm gonna put on like lashes, a bit of mascara. Sorry, it's a little bit cheating, but just kind of finish off the look, put on my wig and all that, and then I'll show you guys the final look. All right, I'm back. Here's the final look. Yeah, so that's the look. I think it looks actually pretty decent, pretty convincing. I don't think it's the best job that I've ever done as far as complexion goes. My eye look I'm actually quite happy with, although I don't like what's going on with these lashes. I should probably clean them. Okay, aside from my lashes being dirty, yeah, I think this actually turned out pretty decent. I like what's going on my eyes. I like the way my lips are actually done. Even though I had a really hard time doing this lip situation, I think it actually turned out quite nice. Would I do my makeup like this all the time? Absolutely not. But as I mentioned earlier, I have done blush before with eyeshadow, and I feel like as far as, you know, contour, bronzer, like really not that different from using, you know, a regular bronzer contour versus using an eyeshadow. I feel like it's basically the same thing anyways, so I don't think it super matters. I actually quite like the lip situation once I kind of figured that whole thing out. I don't know about longevity, and I also don't even know if eyeshadow is actually safe to use on the lips, so I'd be a little nervous eating and drinking with this on. Although because it's powder, I feel like it might actually last longer than some lipsticks, just because it's like that drier formula. And this particular eyeshadow actually stains your eyelids. So I feel like it would give you a nice lip stain, although you can get the same effect from a lip stain. So there's that. But yeah, overall, happy with the way this look turned out. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. I'd love to hear your thoughts, constructive criticism, video ideas, just things you'd like to see. So feel free to let me know what you think in the comments. If you like the type of content that I post here on my channel, the type of looks that I do, I'm sure you'll enjoy the stuff that I post on my other social media. I'll leave links in the description box so you can check those out. Follow me there. That would be super appreciated. And if you like the type of content that I post here and you want to see more, I'd love it if you could subscribe and turn on notifications, and that way you'll get updated every time I post a new video, and I'll see you guys next time.